Good afternoon, Harlem. Good evening, Harlem and Harlems of the world. I'm Terri Wisdom, and this is Harlem Network News. And as many of you know, Harlem Network News started at the onset of COVID, and we're still here. We consider ourselves an essential service, making sure that Harlem and the Harlems of the world are informed, engaged, and totally called to action. But this is a really significant and special show. It's a special moment in time. Here we are. I don't know if it's been a week, a year, so many things have happened. But from last Sunday, our president, Joseph Biden, stepped down and then shortly after passed on the torch to our VP Kamala Harris, and history is being made every day. I'm part of an organization, Win with Black Women. We had one agenda, and in 5 hours, we changed the agenda. A meeting that's normally 300 people had 44,000 Black women on a call. So the momentum has just been going. History's been made every day. But right now, we're here to speak about Harlem history, Harlem for Harris, Black women, Harlem for Harris. And I'm not gonna keep talking. I'm gonna pass the torch to our state senator, Cordell Cleare, and she'll tell you a little bit about who she is, and a little bit about this great momentum. And then, we have all of our others on the call, our assembly member, Inez Dickens, our district leader, Wilma Brown, district leader, Val Joe Bradley. So Cordell, just bring it in. Thank you.
Thank you, Terri. Thank you for having this very important platform for us to just talk about what we're doing. I'm New York State Senator Cordell Cleare. I represent the 30th District, which includes Harlem and what people call West Harlem now, and a significant part of East Harlem, El Barrio, a portion of the Upper West Side, and a small piece of Washington Heights. I'm very excited about what we're doing and being part of Harlem Black Women for Kamala. So I'm going to let my co-organizers introduce themselves. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Terri Wisdom. I am Assemblymember Inez E. Dickens, representing the 70th Assembly District. I am so proud to have been a part of the few women that got together, which was Val Bradley, Ernestine Temple was a district leader in the 71st Assembly District, Wilma Brown, and of course our senator, to pull together at the last minute, because it was very unexpected, the announcement that President Biden would not be seeking re-election, and that he endorsed his vice president, Kamala Harris, to run for the Democratic presidential seat. It's historic. I never thought I would live to see, I never thought I would live to see Barack Obama become president, that we'd have a Black president. And now we stand united that a Black woman, a woman of color, will be elected, and I'm claiming it, so I'm saying will be elected to president of the United States, which is one of the most powerful countries, and if not the most powerful in the world. And to think that we will now have a woman of color, a Black woman, that will be the president, and the fact that over 300 women came together to show support out of Harlem for this woman, because, as they say that oftentimes women are not as supportive of other women. This shows what happened this past Sunday, shows that just is not true, that women can get together, that will get together, that are adamant in coming out and voting. They have signed up to volunteer, to do whatever is necessary be it to beat on doors, to do GOTV activity, because yes, we need to register people because there are a lot of people still not registered to vote. But in addition to those that are registered, to get them out to vote. And this showed a unity of Black women, that Black women pulled this together, that Black women came and stood united on a hot Sunday to show support for Kamala
After
Harris for
church and
president.
everything
And I'm so
else.
proud to have been a part, and a significant part of that beginning, because this is just the beginning and not the end.
Yes, thank you for sharing. And for those of you who are joining, this is Harlem Network News, and I don't have the right name for it. I'll let you say it again, because I was just saying Harlem Black Women for Harris, but let's get that right name and the right hashtag so we can continue to make that happen. Thank you. Wilma.
My name is Wilma Brown Phillips. I am a district leader for the 70th RC here in Harlem. To be a part of this dynamic group of Black women was I laid my hat out to them, because when they called me, I was just in awe that they called me. But to be a part of something that is so powerful, I had to say yes to them and the leadership. I think when we pulled together on, I don't know, it was a Wednesday or a Thursday, but I assure you that Sunday was around the corner.
Tuesday.
And we said, Tuesday? Thank you, Senator. And we said to one another, if we were going to do this, we had to do it now. We couldn't do it 2 weeks from now. We couldn't do it a week from now. We know that every move we made had to be the now. And no one ever thought that it would not happen. We knew that we had to just make it happen. So I'm going to give a shout out to these sisters that I'm here with that said, okay, we can do it. And most people know, no, not most people, all people know women can do anything we put our mind to it. And unapologetically saying Black women can make anything happen. We make soup from nothing. We make soup out of nothing, and it tastes good.
Absolutely, all the time. So thank you for sharing,
All the time.
Wilma. It's indeed a very powerful time, and we know the power. And Harlem is a village, and it's not just by the boundaries of Harlem. That's why I always say it's Harlem and Harlems of the world. But once you put that drumbeat out, especially for women, and we all know each other. And if we don't know each other, we know somebody who knows the other person. And that's how that goes. We show up and we show out. So Valerie, Joe Bradley, do you want to share?
And I'm a community activist for historic preservation in Harlem, as well as a park advocacy activist for Marcus Garvey Park.
Okay.
I feel honored to have been a part of this gathering and to have planned this event with these powerful sisters who are on this Zoom right now, because we pulled this together in 5 days. And that just speaks to the power of Black women, especially. You know, when we started getting the RSVPs, my email is just like inundated with women saying, count me in. Or if they said, I might not be able to make it, but let me know what I can do because I'm in on it. And whatever, I think it gave Black women an opportunity to support another Black woman. They're always saying that we don't support each other. Well, what happened on Sunday is evidence that that's not true. We were there and willing and ready to go and work for Kamala. And Kamala, our vice president, Kamala Harris.
Mhm.
And I think it's significant that we met in front of Harriet Tubman's memorial, because she was a woman who took the bull by the horns. Once she liberated herself, she went back and got other people and liberated many, many slaves. Sometimes she had to force them with a gun. That's significant, especially since now, when she liberated these people, they couldn't vote. And we couldn't vote, we as Black women couldn't vote in the whole country until the 1965 Voting Rights Act. And that act is being threatened with the MAGA folks. And I believe someone like Kamala Harris is going to make certain that the Voting Rights Act is not thrown away as trash, so that we are enfranchised and that we have a say about what happens to we can determine what happens to our bodies. We can determine what our history is and what can be taught in schools. And that's very important. And so I just say, thank you, Lord, for letting this happen. And we're going to make it happen. And Kamala's going to win.
Yeah, it's this is Harlem Network News. Yes, she is. Yes, she can. Yes, she will. But it's just been a roller coaster of life this week, from all the things that have happened, the attempted assassination, President Biden stepping down. And I know we're a little bit into our discussion. I'm not a minister, but I just want to put the prayers out there and cover us all in prayer. And I also just want to salute one of ours who has done a lot in this community, Brother Jeffrey Eaton, who is now Ancestor, done great work with Congressman Rangel, the NAACP, so many great things. So we just want to salute and just give a prayer to him and his family. And I know that he's going to watch over us and guide us from up there, I'm very sure. So these are,
and he was the president, Terri, of the Mid-Manhattan branch
yes,
of the NAACP for years. And in fact, he brought that branch into the 21st century and started a next gen part of it in order to encourage, enlighten, educate, and embrace younger people to understand the importance of voting and the significance of involvement in their communities.
yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you for saying that, Inez, because that speaks to something else that I want to mention that was really significant about Sunday. We weren't just women out there alone. There were men supporting us. We had our future assembly person, Jordan Wright, and council member, Yusuf Salam, and many other men who were out there supporting Black women. And that's so important, because people don't just say women don't support women, but that we can't be together and be united. And on Sunday, we were united together, everyone happy, men happy to see us be happy for Kamala and being happy themselves. It was an intergenerational mix of women, of leaders from every age and every walk of life. It was also, it spoke to the fighting spirit of Black women. So when Valerie was talking about Harriet Tubman, that's what went through my mind. There is a fighting spirit that no matter what, we struggle, no matter what, we are determined to continue to fight, move ahead. And this spoke to that. It spoke to our resilience. It spoke to our strength, our resourcefulness, just putting this together in such a short period of time. And you know what was very interesting and really spiritual for me? The first phone call was, yes, The second phone call was yes. The third phone call, no hesitation. Yes, we'll get started. When is it going to be? And everyone showed up the very next day. And that doesn't happen. Assemblymember Dickens has a schedule. District Leader Wilma Brown, Valerie, these are all women leaders with incredible schedules. Myself, but it was just, you know what, whatever it is, boom, it has
to make it happen.
And we're going to do it.
Let's do it.
That's our power. That's our power that we've had for so long, and it's showing up here. And then Sunday was just magical because everyone who came just came. There was no convincing to be made. There was no pitch to be made. There was no selling to be done.
Right.
They showed up ready. Where's the check going? Where do you want me to show up? What bus am I getting on? It was just, and you just couldn't help but feel that. You couldn't help but feel that. So I'm proud of Harlem's Black women and the other Black women who joined us because we were one Harlem with one vision, one mission, and it just felt really good to be a part of that. And I look forward to it continuing and not just being a win for Kamala, but this is a win for Harlem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Senator, I wanted to add, I omitted, I was remiss. We were also joined at the initial meeting, and she worked very hard along with all of us to pull this together. And that's the state committee woman from the 70th, Aaliyah Horsford Sidbury.
Okay.
Absolutely.
She's a part of the committee as well. I just want to add to what Senator Cordell said. We were talking about, we planned something on a Sunday and we said 1 p.m. And I said to my colleagues, I said, well, I'm going to get out there early just to clean up the spot. We do live in Harlem and, just hit the grass a little bit. I tell you, Joe, Terri, people were out there at 12. I was greeting people at 12. Hi, is this the rally? Yes, we're getting things together. And they started picking up papers and cleaning the area. That place, by 12:15 or 12:05 when the senator arrived, it was packed.
Packed and pristine.
And it was not 1 p.m. As a matter of fact, our senator started doing a countdown. Okay, to 1:30. I mean, it was just like unreal. We're gonna it's 12:45, 12:47, because we were determined to start at 1, waiting for everyone. But I'm telling you, 12:05, they were there. They were there.
Yeah, and ready. Is, as you said, it's a very powerful thing. This is our time. There's a lot of divine energy happening out there. I guess that's a cliche to say divine nine, but I'm talking about the greater divine. We're all a part of it. And even in terms of the determination, because on that call with the 44,000 women on Sunday, there are people who were trying to get on that call from 8:45 and didn't get on until 11, but they were persistent in trying to make sure that they were a part. So I think that we have a lot of energy, and every day is a new day. And I from what I see, Vice President Kamala Harris has picked up that speed. She's moving quick. She's
invigorated the Democratic
jet stream.
Yeah.
So and that shows you that this country, this world, this nation is ready for a Black woman, a woman of color, to take the leadership. When Black women get involved and get to work, that's when everybody wins. Families win, individuals win, young people win, education, health, housing, whatever you talk about. That's when we win. That's when we all win. Not just a segment, but we all win. And I think that what has been generated, the energy, the sheer energy that's been generated around the election of Vice President Kamala Harris to become president shows that it is time for women. And I have nothing against the men. The men have been in charge for years.
Right.
They've been the president. We've
Centuries.
never in the history had a woman president. We had them to run because we had Shirley Chisholm to
Absolutely.
run for
Yes, she
president.
did.
Mhm.
You know, we've also had Hillary Clinton, but this time we had a Black woman who is going to win.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Now we stand on the shoulders
Sure.
of Shirley Chisholm. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
I'm
But
sure she's
that was
smiling
not
down
the
on
time.
us.
The men were still in charge. Now the women have said, it's our day, it's our time. We have been the ones that have been working it. We have been behind the men all of these years, pushing them for them to be successful.
Right.
And now it's
right.
time for us to step up.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you know,
Absolutely.
Black women have a real stake in this election because we have been underrepresented, underpaid,
Yep.
and underserved on
And
every
still
level.
are,
Now,
still are.
Cordell Cleare
No,
said that.
but
So I'm
point.
stealing your words, Cordell.
that's okay.
Uh,
Our words.
Yeah,
It
but you
bears
know, like we
repeating.
have
It
a
bears
real
repeating.
stake. Huh?
It bears repeating.
I like
Yes.
that. I like that, Assemblywoman. Bears repeating.
Over and
Bears
over
repeating.
because it's true. And if you look at, and I can trace the feeling I have about a lot of what's going on back to Fannie Lou Hamer. I'm sick and tired
Oh God,
of being sick and
I'm
tired.
tired.
He knew
That's
it
No.
then, but we can actually do it now. And like the Assemblywoman said, I can only reiterate this. When Black women win,
We all win.
everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Everybody.
We're not selfish.
We're
Everybody.
not. We care for
Everybody.
everybody and everything. We always have, and we will continue to do that. So I'm just excited. I know that Kamala will step in. She's intelligent. She's a great orator. She is
Yes.
ready. She has been in those rooms. She knows what's at stake. She knows what we need. And I believe this is someone that we're going to be able to work with in America to turn these situations around. And like the Assemblywoman said, she will win. And that is because we are going to make it so. We are going to make it so.
And because
she's
she's
got
gonna
her-
win, I think we're gonna have a majority in the House of Representatives and a majority in the Senate. And if we get that, she really will be able to work her Black woman
And
magic.
do what has
Yes,
to be done.
yes,
What has to
yes.
be
You know
done.
something?
That's
You know
true.
something?
That's
I
very
want to
true.
put this
And
out.
she's going to have her first debate
Oh,
in
okay.
a few weeks.
Yes.
So we've got to tune in, whatever date and time that's finally been decided. We've got to tune in and be on to show support for Kamala Harris.
Absolutely.
We've
Absolutely.
got to be on
We
to
have
show
to-
that we are
we gotta put
interested,
those
we're
numbers
supportive,
high.
and we're going to work towards it.
And
But
we
you know
will.
something,
Go ahead,
ladies, you know
Wilma.
what point I want to make, and it's definitely all about Kamala Harris. But I want to say this to you, Terri.
Mhm.
It is something about Harlem.
Mm,
Well,
come on.
Harlem.
Absolutely. That's
I
why
mean,
we're all
Harlem.
here.
Let's bring it back to Harlem to
Yes.
see
Yes.
Harlem Black women come out and stand under the Harriet Tubman with us. I mean, the feeling was wild. I was wild.
And
Mhm.
can I add to that,
We're
Wilma?
talking about, go on, please. Help
Can
me
I
out. Help
just
me
say, and don't
Go
get
on.
me, it is Harlem, but
Yes.
Harlem has had a certain significance.
Mhm,
To
mhm.
me, it has always been the crossroads of the Black experience.
It's the Mecca.
It is the Mecca.
It's the Mecca.
It is almost, it is the Mecca. From Thurgood to Malcolm
Yes.
to Martin to Nelson to Zora to
Mhm.
Langston.
Yes.
Leaders
All
in
right.
all
All
of
right.
every
Sorry.
single regard. Leaders in every regard. Billy. All of those.
Ella Baker.
Ella, everybody from art to music to politics to you name it. It came here.
Adam
To
Clayton
James
Powell.
Baldwin, Adam Clayton Powell. We'll be here all night if we keep on with the name.
You know, it's very interesting, Senator, that you should raise that, because it's so true. That this is the center of the African diaspora, with
That's
Schomburg. You know, it's so interesting that you brought that up, and I'm glad that you did, because Harlem historically has led the way politically, socially, and economically for the enhancement of Black people. And I say that
culturally.
because Harlem, and culturally, and I say that because Harlem elected the first ever Black borough president in the history of New York City, of the 5 boroughs, with Hewlett Jack.
Yes.
In 1953.
Know our history.
In
And then we had a
1953.
Black woman who was Manhattan
And then
Borough President.
we had Justice Constance Baker Motley, who became the first, all out of Harlem, became the first Black borough president.
Yes.
Now I'm not even mentioning what else she went on to become after that.
And
But,
was also
she was the first
Black woman
to become the first Black woman in the history of the city.
Yeah.
We also had Bessie Buchanan.
Bessie Buchanan.
How many people know Bessie Buchanan was the first Black woman elected to the New York State Assembly?
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell who was her son?
Who's
Romare Bearden.
Oh yes.
Okay. We're getting a history lesson. I love it.
Romare Bearden was her
we can
son.
talk about the history, but Harlem has significantly raised its head and its mantle and its arms to show that
every time
Blacks' empowerment was important, and we led the way for other boroughs to step in.
Yep.
But Harlem has been the first.
Yes.
That has been able to do all of these first. We talk about the Renaissance, the Harlem Renaissance.
Right.
That occurred. You know,
and that's
that
real. On every level. On every level.
And so it was so significant, Senator, that you raised that issue because of the history that Harlem can go back to over the years. Every other borough can only start in the 60s. And Harlem can go back to the turn of the century, and I'm talking about the last century.
We're on
1906, 1905. They, like with
the 1800s.
Right.
Okay. Abyssinian Baptist Church started downtown and moved uptown.
But Mother Zion was the first.
That's true.
Mother AME Zion.
Mother Zion was the first. And Harriet Tubman at one time was a member of Mother Zion.
Absolutely.
That's correct.
Wow. So Terri, you understand what I mean when I say all of that makes a difference, but to stand on the grounds and the soil and have this be done in Harlem makes a difference.
It's very significant.
That is where I'm going.
Yes, and
that's the brand.
We got
to open that brand and make it live.
No, it's very important.
I understand that Time Magazine picked it up. Okay.
Wait, repeat that.
Harlem Black women. I'm sorry.
No, repeat what you said, because I lost the
about Time Magazine.
Time Magazine. Yes.
I said I understand. Time Magazine picked us up. That they have a little article about us. The Harlem Black women for Kamala.
Very good article.
And it's really important that this happened because in the last 10 to 15 years, there's been a real concerted effort to wipe Harlem off the map.
Yes.
You get what I'm talking about.
By destroying our landmarks, destroying our history,
destroying our housing,
and making
Picking us
housing
apart.
so expensive that we can't afford to live here. And there's been a serious out migration.
Yes.
And I think what happened on Sunday shows us that we are not ready to die.
No, no, no. By
Mm-mm.
no means.
And-
We're
and-
here.
Still here, and still we rise. For those of you who are just joining us, this is Harlem Network News. And, you know, as James Baldwin quote, "So goes Harlem, so goes the world." That's a very, very real quote. And as we're on that, we're with the group and that brought the over 300 women together. And I'm saying Harlem Black Women for Harris, but I know we got another hashtag going. But I want, as we're speaking this, what comes to me is that I think it's very critical that our VP, our candidate for president of these United States, come home to Harlem. I think that's a very critical thing.
oh
I
yeah.
think it would be critical for her as well as it would be wonderful for us. But I want to just add one last thing to what the previous conversation was about. There is also a concerted effort sometimes, in my view, to stop the Black movement. Because I uplift Blackness, because I uplift Black people and want to empower and want to see us remain, does not negate any other group of people. It does not push anybody else away. And I don't see that when others lift up their group of people, because everybody wants to be lifted up and empowered. But oftentimes, when Black is mentioned, it's shh, don't say anything. You can't say that. Or that's it's not anti anybody. But there is a need to lift us up. And if you don't think so, look at the crime statistics. Look at the Black on Black, the gun violence, the things that are being done. We have to lift ourselves up out of that, because that's not our nature. That's not the way we are going to succeed. That's not what we came from. There have been deliberately things put in there to tear the Black communities down, as some of it was described by Valerie when she was speaking a moment ago. And some of that was very intentional. We have to face that. But now we have to be just as intentional and deliberate about lifting ourselves up. So no one should feel any kind of way because we are excited as Black women supporting this Black woman. She's going to need all of the support we can give her. And she's going to need white support. And she's going to need Latino support, brown support, Asian support, all LGBTQIA plus support. She's going to need all of that support. But it is good for her to know that she has the support of Black women in Harlem. And Harlem matters. Harlem is very significant, not just to people who live here, but to the entire Black world. And when we
say the whole world,
the whole world, and when
you say Harlem,
that's true.
People know where it is.
But when you look at Harlem, I can talk to, and you're right, everyone around the world has some sort of knowledge, some sort of idea, some sort of a connection to this neighborhood, not a town, we're not a city, we're not a borough, just this neighborhood.
We're a
but
village.
when you talk to Black people around the United States, all across the United States, they have a Harlem experience some way or another. They have, oh yeah, my auntie used to, oh my uncle, my grandma, oh yeah, I used to live there. Oh, everybody's connected in some way. Everybody I talk to has a story. And I think that's sacred to us. That is to be cherished and to be proud of that and to lead for not just ourselves, but for everyone.
Okay, well said, Senator Cleare. And we've laid the foundation for the heart, for the spirit, for the mind, for the body, because that's how we process and put things together. So now with this group, what are next steps? What's the strategic plan? what do you need people to do? How can we reach out? And I do want to say that after the gathering at the memorial, the group did move over to one of our cultural centers, which was opened, the Dwyer Cultural Center, Adamola Ojibifola, the great Harlem artist, his brother Harold was there, and that was a powerful thing. So if we could just share next steps and what do you need? How can we be there? How can we move quickly? And that's what we do. I mean, I basically come out of like a news background, so know about quick, get the story at 3, put it on the air at 6. So that's what
So we
time.
have been moving quickly. I'm glad you said that. We have been organizing. Wilma Brown, she's just the most, and Valerie Bradley, Peggy Shepard, who is a part of our group as well, myself, Aaliyah, the Assemblywoman Ernestine. We have all jumped in on this. We were victims of our own success on Sunday, and we have just been gathering. We are still receiving names. We're collecting and organizing that information, and we expect to be in touch with people on this Thursday coming to let them know exactly what we want them to do. And it is a variety of things. She needs money. She needs people, not just to, and it was mentioned earlier, we need people to go to, we have districts here, congressional districts here in New York State that need to be flipped. We have to let her go in, as the assembly member mentioned, she needs to have people working with her. She needs to be have a house that will support her and support what she's trying to do. So that's just as important as us getting out there and supporting her. We also are going to have phone banking opportunities. We're going to have fundraising opportunities, definitely voter registration opportunities, where we're going to put these events. So we've got a lot of stuff on us that we are organizing so that we can deliver this in an organized fashion and get people engaged. So you'll be hearing from us. If you sign them papers, I hope you didn't do that expecting not to hear from us, because we will be calling you.
Okay. So that's a good thing. It's the drumbeat. I'm Terri Wisdom. This is Harlem Network News, and we are here with our incredible, powerful Harlem leaders, and we're standing for Kamala. As you mentioned, funds have been raised, and a lot of funds have been raised. And we want to assure that some of the funds, I don't know, it's one of you can explain it better, when you donate to the Democratic Party, how those funds are used. But we also really are going to need a lot of funds, boots on the ground. I stand knowing Black media, grassroots Black media, we need to be able to get out that message. We need to touch those who are not registered, and even those who are registered. We got to touch them 3, 4, 5 times. And also the messaging, because I know, because I'm working with the content people, with Win with Black Women, there's a messaging that is coming out, Kamala's messaging for what we need to address. But I think there's also a messaging from our community to penetrate and address the needs of our community. We want people to vote. We want them to support. And also we need to, I believe, bring up what is our agenda? What are our needs? Very, very critical that we make those known. So maybe someone would like to speak to that.
Well, that's very important. Go ahead.
No, please, go ahead, Val, please. Go right ahead.
Well, one thing that's very important is that when we're working like this, they've got to understand it's coming from Harlem and their great expectations. And that the party has to acknowledge our work and our contribution, and also give back. So that has to be articulated, I think, in the convention, in the platform. I mean, my concern, and I know Cordell and Wilma and Inez's concern, is affordable housing. That's one of the biggest issues that impacts Harlem, because we want people to be able to live here who are from here. And if the rent is so unaffordable that they can't, then why are we doing this? We have to preserve affordability. And I believe someone like Kamala Harris will listen to our needs, maybe think about how we might address changing the AMI so that real affordable housing can be built in New York City, and especially in Harlem, where there is a serious problem. And we want to be able to make an impact on that at the on the platform, and make certain that that is an issue that is addressed in the platform. And who can better do that than Harlem people?
Absolutely. And along with that, Valerie, not just the AMI, but also reinvesting in public housing, which has housed so many of us for so long. And now it's as if the federal government is just walking away and leaving public housing on their own, or at the risk of being privatized, which we know is going to result in less housing and less affordability down the line. So we have to get our agenda before her. We also have to make sure that there are subsidies for developers to build affordable housing. It is so expensive to build housing in New York City right now. We have to make sure that that's done. Helping our homeowners even. It's just the cost everywhere and everyone. The crunch is being felt, especially in our communities. So we definitely want someone who is going to look at those issues. We need someone who's going to help us deal with the migrant crisis that we have going on in New York City and in other places. We're struggling to take care of all the things that our cities have to take care of, and we need a government that is responsive to that.
Thank you, Cordell.
Well, I just want to piggyback and add a few things to that. The first thing is, and your question was about what's the next step. Well, we've articulated a lot of the things that are necessary to do as the next step, but what has to be a part of that next step is the fact that we're talking about doing voter registration and phone banking, GOTV, knocking on doors, canvassing. All that's part of the next step. But what has not been addressed in past elections that were important was the fact that in anticipation of a large number of voters voting, that the Board of Elections, those that are hired to be their poll workers, have to be properly trained. They have to be prepared for the additional number of people, excessive number of people, the great number of people that we're anticipating that will come out and vote. More than what they did for Barack Obama. And the lines were 3 and 4 hours long when he ran. And it may be longer than that in November, on November 5th this year. That it's important that our poll workers be given the resources and the knowledge to know not to turn any voter away. Now that's going to be
very critical.
Critical in this election, not only for Kamala for president, but also as was articulated by Val about taking back the House, which is very, very important that the House be taken back. As part of the agenda for what the next step is, we have to be inclusive and aware of what we have to do for preparation for the Board of Elections and the poll workers in order for them to be able to stay there and have the knowledge of what to do and not to do if a voter's name is not in the book, so that no voter is turned away from the poll. In addition, it's important as a next step that we have a Supreme Court justice in Harlem, as has been done over the past years, at the state office building, where they can set up, have the computer, have the chairs where it can be convenient for those that do have a difficulty, where the judge can then give them the right to vote right then. And they can take it back to their poll site and vote. So as part of the preparation or part of what the next step is, all of that has to be inclusive. Now, I didn't refer to the agenda that was being discussed by our senator, because that's another part of it. But the first part is what your question was the next step. And those are a part of the next steps that is imperative that we that are calling ourselves leaders, or that are leaders within our communities, or within, as you say, Terri, the Harlems of the world. It's important that we see to it that that's all part of what the next step is. And when I talk about the agenda, the other part of the agenda has to be, and that has to be now rather than after, is in addition to all that the senator mentioned, that that the Black media is dying in America. That is a fight I took up back in 2008. I took that up. I brought together, when I was in the city council, media from Black media from around the country. I brought them down to City Hall. I then took them, because at that time I was on the National Party, the Democratic National Committee. I was a member of it, and I opened up the agenda to ensure that the Black media got some revenue. They got advertising. That has to be on the agenda first, because if they die, then we die. And so it's important that we bring that to light and fight for it. I've now got a meeting started. The Black media, because I did it in 2008, they came to me with this issue of what is being done, which has been nothing as far as that the party has done to be inclusive of giving advertising dollars to the Black media. They came to me, and I've put together a meeting that we're planning on having hopefully next week, in order for them to be included on now, not on an agenda later, but on the agenda now, with the party. And in addition to that, for the Black media, that there are contracts that are given at the convention. And this was a big argument I had back in 2008 with the party, that the contracts, such as there's Black owning companies that can sell water, because they give away the water at the convention. When they have these parties, what Black restaurants will be able to provide the food. There's a lot that can be done now, and all of that is the next steps.
Part of it. A part of it. Well, thank you for sharing.
Well, the Black press is responsible for bringing Black people out of the South up to the North for job opportunities and for freedom. And that was a campaign. The Amsterdam News, the Chicago Defender, the Baltimore African American. That's what they did. That's where we got our information. And we can't abandon them now.
No.
Correct. You're right. That's why I fought in 2008, and that's why I've set it up now. Again, the same fight from 2008 is now being done in 2024. Same fight. Because Black media has been dying, not a slow death, but a fast death, all across the nation.
It's impactful. It's impactful. The media is the message, the media. And Harlem Network News actually started, I mean, I've been in the media, since I was 21. Started at Sesame Street Electric Company, went to, all of the news networks, worked on feature films. But when I saw Black people at the pandemic walking around Harlem thinking I'm Black, I can't get it, reference COVID, I was like, okay, I got to jump in the deep water and start communicating, because they were not seeing themselves, and the people that were talking to them were not people that they knew or related to them. So we hurried and got our Black doctors, our clergy, to come on, our public officials, in that time to come and speak to the people, because those are the trusted people. So like you said, Cordell, Senator Cordell, that the messaging for us, it's not a thing because we say we're Black, we're not alienating anybody else, but you've got to talk to people so they can hear you and then spring into action. It's a call to action. And also to dispel all the disparities, because there's a lot of people that feel that they have been forgotten and there's nothing they can do. But I think with this surge of energy, and we've got to take that wave and ride it so that we can really make change. So many issues, obviously, education in our community, District 5, Central Harlem, separate but not equal, stopped 70 years ago, but not right here. So we have a lot of issues, economic issues, small business issues, and we've got to let people know what we need. And
what is up south?
Excuse me?
This is
What do they call it? Up south?
Yeah, up south. So we could go on, because I got a knowledge base here. So
let me say one thing, Terri. I just want to, there's a lot of concerns and issues here in Harlem, but this race for the Harlem Black women, for Kamala Harris, this is going to be a grassroots.
Yes.
This is all about grassroots. Want you to know the difference between a whole lot of strategic planning. We all know, all the leaders on this is going to be ran grassroots, the grassroots way. Got to go back to the old way.
But Wilma, part of that, it means that the Black media has to be able to
that's what I'm saying.
Word out.
That's why they're included. Grassroots is all. They have to be there. They have to be there for sure.
We've got to articulate it, but we could go on. We got historians on here, great knowledge base, such a body of wisdom, such a body of strength. But we're gonna close out. This is not this is the first time, this is not the last time we'll get together. Perhaps we will have a big Zoom call with all our Harlem women, so we can, do that, pulling everybody together. And of course, we're going to see each other in person. But if we could have a closing statement, and I'm going to put up your, there's a QR code, Harlem Black Women for Kamala Harris. And there's a survey, a sign up. I'm going to put that up, but we'll be making sure that when we come out with our newsletter, that is there. And I believe there is an email that they can reach out to. What is that email, Val?
Val Bradley, ValBradley at AOL.com.
Okay.
If you're interested in getting information.
Terri, I want to say something about Val. I don't know if people are really aware, because she was very, quiet about what she has done.
Yes.
But over the years, she is a historian. And yes, she's been very active in the survival and the restoration of the park, Marcus Garvey Park. But in addition to that, she has been a leader in Black media. I don't know if people are aware, because I brought her name up when we were discussing about having this meeting. I told her she has to be at the meeting. Like I said, that Terri Wisdom has to be at the meeting, that when they call this meeting together, that Valerie has to be at it because of her history, her knowledge, and her understanding. I'm just the catalyst to get it together, but these are the ones that have to be at the table.
Mhm. So share a
I
little
just
bit,
wanted people
Val,
to be
because
aware.
we all don't know everything about everybody, but we know that in different ways we've all worked together. I remember years ago when I had a guest house, Valerie called and she was trying to do something with her guest house. She came over, we shared as much information as we
And
could.
you were the only one
That's what we do.
shared information with me. You were the only one.
Well, somebody shared
And
with
it
me.
was greatly appreciated.
Mhm. Okay, so give us a little history, Val, and then we're gonna.
Well, you know, like I went to my first Democratic convention in 1968 when I was working for Jet Magazine,
Okay.
and Ebony Magazine assigned me to do a story on Fannie Lou Hamer because that was the first year that the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party was
Yep.
seated at the Democratic Convention.
That's right.
Because
Yep.
4 years previous, when it was in New Jersey,
Mhm.
they would not seat them.
Yep.
So it was significant to interview her and get her views about what it meant to be seated at the Democratic Convention from Mississippi. This is a woman who, I mean, went through, I mean, you know, like they beat her, they fired her.
They jailed her, yes.
They jailed her. And, you know, like in addition to her saying, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, another Black woman was instrumental in getting that Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party seated, and that was Ella Baker,
Baker.
who was the first executive director of SNCC, not SNCC, of
No.
SCLC.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then she
Okay.
organized SNCC.
Okay. And would you say
And
what is SNCC? Because we have,
Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee,
okay, thank you.
which went all through the South to register people to vote.
And they went up on
And
the college campuses too. Don't forget that.
yes, they did. And they were serious organizers, and you know, they've been around for a long time, and now they are dealing with their legacy, and they have programs going on. But Ella Baker lived here in New York, in Lenox Terrace.
Oh, wow.
And Ella Baker was a force. And I guess my closing remarks would be her words: "We who believe in freedom cannot rest."
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for that, Val. And I love interviewing people because I always learn something that I didn't know. So thank you for that. Senator Cordell, do you want to give us some closing words and some marching orders? And also, this is Harlem Network News. I'm Terri Wisdom, and we've had a very robust conversation. You can also reach out to Harlem Network News at gmail.com, or you can call us directly because we don't want technology to stop anyone from getting involved. You can call us directly at 646-261-5397. That's a direct number. And we will also be putting the information in our newsletter. I'm going to have Senator Cleare just give us closing statements and prayers and watching over all of us. So,
Prayers,
right
okay.
Thank you.
Well, I'll just say this: Harlem Black women, for Kamala, when we fight, we win. And I just want everybody to be encouraged by that. And for anybody who's confused or thinking that this is a time to sit down, it's not. Please understand that this is as Reverend Sandra Baker said yesterday, this is the winning season. And we have to remember that, and remember that we can do this, and there's so much at stake, so much at risk. And I know that it is the winning season when we talk about all the things that Black women have struggled through, have gone through. all the people we've helped, all the things that we continue to have love and compassion and continue to have caring in our hearts, continuing to fight for our people, continuing to fight for all people. I know that God remembers our labors, and he sure will come and give us victory in this race. And I'm just excited. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, but just keep on working and fighting and waiting until the election day comes and we can all be celebrating. And Harlem needs to be recognized for its role. We're going to take our place at the table. That's always done. For as history you've heard come before us, we are going to sit at our place in history because we are always fighting. We said one thing, the assembly member left out one little thing. We set the fashion trends too, Inez.
Absolutely.
And don't,
Harlem in the house. Harlem in the house.
Don't laugh at that. That has been an economy builder for so many people who have gotten rich off of that, off of our music. We're just live all day.
Well, Senator, if you're going to add the fashion, and I was remiss, I did leave it out. Let us not forget hair.
Yes.
Let us not forget.
Yes.
We are the first that have braids. We're the first that have the naturals. We're the first. Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Come on. Black hair is.
Yes.
Remember.
And Black is beautiful. Our Grandassa models and
everything.
Right.
Yes.
We perfected jazz. You name it, dance, Lindy Hop, whatever it is. Harlem has
I love us. I love us.
I do. And this is a great time for us. And it's, again, not to exclude anyone else, but it is a great time to enjoy us. And I enjoy all of you. I'm honored to work with every single one of you, to know you. One day the history books will reflect something. And whatever it is, it will be great. It will read Inez Dickens, Valerie Jo Bradley, Wilma Brown Phillips, Ernestine Bell Temple, Aaliyah Horsford, Peggy Shepard, Cordell Cleare, and even Terri Wisdom. In this moment, there are people who will look back and say, I'm so glad those women were together. I'm so glad they did what they did. I'm so proud to be of that community, and we will be remembered in a loving and warm way, because that's what this is about. So many women are still walking up to me. I didn't even make it, but I'm so glad y'all did that. Tell me about the next one. And so many women who were there who said, thank you. I'm so glad y'all did this. So I'm thankful for my sisters that are here. These are some powerful women right here. They for most of their career and for most of what all of us have done, we have been in the background. And people may see some of the things we do up front, but you can't even name the things we've done in the background quietly, when no one is looking, when we know
Cordell, because we know what you did. We know what you did and what you continue to do. When you work with our late council member Bill Perkins.
But I also want to acknowledge these women. They are powerful. They are so powerful. I watched Inez Dickens, and these were free positions, mind you, for most of them.
As I say, no remuneration.
No remuneration.
Right.
That means you ain't get paid, y'all. And
that wasn't just me. That was you. That was Tam Perkins. I mean,
that's Wilma Brown.
And on.
Ernestine, the list goes on.
Yes.
We do it in the churches. We do it in the political clubs. We do it everywhere. The tenant associations, the block associations, the Inez Francises of the world, the Ruby Kitchens of the world, the things that they did. The world doesn't even know, but
making a way out of no way. So imagine what we can do. What we can do. So on that note, we're gonna close. I know we're all happy to be together and
Yes.
we're in the moment. We're rolling up our sleeves. And as you said, when we fight, we win. So we've got to keep on that wave. We've got to keep on that flow. We've got to keep the communication going, open. And I have the vision of our Zoom, our Harlem Zoom, with I don't know how many people going to be on it and who's going to speak to us and give us our marching orders. But I know that people are ready. And
One
I know we
And Terry, I want on that note, and I quote, "Quiet women seldom make history."
Come on now. Oh,
Okay.
I like
Okay.
that.
dropping the knowledge.
One Harlem, everybody.
That's true.
On Harlem.
One
Okay.
Harlem.
Okay, so
Harlem.
keep us posted. Keep sending me the press releases. Call me. I get up early and I go to bed late. So all of
Well,
that is
thank you for for
Okay.
inviting us. Thank you for agreeing to host us, because I don't think anyone else has done that before.
right.
And so
And
I want to thank you, Terry, for
thank you
being
all.
willing to do it.
Thank you all for
Yes.
coming on. And I also knew that I had to move quick. I put it out there
Right.
yesterday, and I know we had to do it today, and it's going to air tomorrow because that's how we got to move right now. So,
Okay.
we're ready.
Well, God bless.
Thank you so much,
And thank
Terry.
you.
About the now, Terry. It's about
Okay.
the now. All right,
Okay.
enjoy. Thank
All
you,
right.
Terry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
One
you.
Harlem.
Thank
And
you.
we
Harlem.
fight, we win. Vice President Kamala Harris. President Kamala Harris claiming it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.